What's up guys, this is CHECKRA1N. iOS 14 is here, and the first thing a lot of you probably want to know is how does this affect iCloud activation lock bypass? Now that iOS 13.7 is no longer signed on ipsw.me, we have to update to iOS 14 whenever we restore an iCloud locked or passcode locked device. Meaning iOS 13.7 bypass is really no longer an option unless you luckily happen to be on that firmware. In this video, we're going to be going over iOS 14 and exactly what it means for all of the classic iCloud bypass methods that we've gotten so used to, and also what challenges it presents, especially for newer devices when it comes to CHECKRA1N. Let's get straight into this video, guys. I can't wait to show you what the future of iCloud bypass looks like. Real quick here, before we begin, I just want to mention that my main Twitter account at AppleTech752 was permanently suspended by Twitter for no reason. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow my second account at Sliver752 by going to twitter.com/Sliver752. I do use Twitter a lot and I post tons of behind the scenes iCloud activation lock bypass content here. So if you're looking for a way to stay up to date in between videos, then I highly recommend following me on Twitter. The most important thing we need to talk about first is CHECKRA1N. CHECKRA1N is the program we have used for every single iCloud bypass method for iOS 12 and 13 devices. And iOS 14 patched CHECKRA1N in a sense that it added a new protection using the secure enclave that prevented devices from being booted up if they were exploited in DFU mode. So this is a problem when it comes to newer devices like the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X. And the reason being is that there is no vulnerability that can be used to exploit this patch and allow us to continue to use CHECKRA1N. However, currently, CHECKRA1N does support the iPhone 6s, the 6s Plus, and the SE, as well as the iPad 5th generation, iPad Air 2, iPad Mini 4, iPad Pro, and of course a few Apple TVs. But the most important thing for us to consider is that CHECKRA1N will probably not support the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X because of this new patch Apple implemented. For the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus, it may support those devices soon using this new Blackbird vulnerability to get around the patch that Apple implemented. And we should be hopefully seeing that, in a few more weeks. And as soon as it does release, I will drop a tweet on Twitter and let everyone know that CHECKRA1N is fixed. So again, make sure you're following me there, and then I'll cover iCloud bypass for those devices following that announcement. But anyways, right now we are restricted to bypassing on the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus, and SE on iOS 14. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and test several methods on my iPhone 6s Plus. The first is going to be the iOS 13.x.x free iCloud bypass. The second method I'm going to test is the MDM bypass on Sliver. Then we're going to test the passcode bypass. And finally, we're going to test the Mina USB patcher tool to see if that is still working as well. So that's the layout for this video. Hope you guys enjoy. So this is pretty funny, but Apple added a new disclaimer at the bottom of the activating your iPhone page that says they collect your hardware identifiers to activate your iPhone on their server. And this is actually really interesting because if you want to learn more about that, you can head over to my blog at appletech752.com and then just click on blog. And here you'll see my complete guide to setup.app and activation lock, where I wrote all about exactly how iCloud bypasses work, what causes activation lock, why bypass in the first place, and of course how the different bypasses themselves work. So this is a really good read if you just want to teach yourself more about the process, what's going on behind the scenes when your iPhone is actually activating itself. But anyways, as you saw, this is an activation lock device, so we're going to go ahead and download the latest version of CHECKRA1N from CHECKRA1N. Let's click on Get the Beta Now and download for macOS. This is of course the latest version. Now we're going to drag it out of our downloads folder and double click the DMG file to open. And we should get a window pop up like this. Super simple, just drag CHECKRA1N into your applications folder and click on replace. Enter your computer password when prompted. And just like this, CHECKRA1N has been installed. So we can go ahead and move the DMG to the trash now if we want to. And now let's go ahead and open up CHECKRA1N. And just like this, it says iPhone 6s Plus is supported and 14.0.1 is not. That is totally normal because Apple just the other day released 14.0.1 and CHECKRA1N hasn't been officially updated for that yet, but it does support it, so we can click allow on tested versions, back, start, and okay, and next. And you might get a pop-up like this that says a software update is required to connect to your iPhone. If you get this pop-up, it's very important that you click install, because this is actually what's going to allow Sliver, CHECKRA1N, iTunes, anything else to communicate with your device. So if you don't install this, then it's going to potentially be a problem. So we're going to wait for this to download and let it do its thing, and I'll be back when it's finished. All right, and if it's asking you to close applications, go ahead and close those applications. That's totally fine. All right, and CHECKRA1N did run successfully. However, because the software was not installed, we were not actually able to connect to the device. So we need to rerun CHECKRA1N now. Let's click done, start, okay, next. And I'm just gonna go through this process for you in fast motion one more time, and then we're gonna try the bypass. All right, and here we go. CHECKRA1N did finish successfully this time. So I'm gonna get to the activation screen again. And we're gonna close out of CHECKRA1N and go into Sliver. Once we're inside of Sliver, let's go to more options, bypass iOS 13.x.x, and then relay device info and make it rain. And just like this, the iCloud bypass said it was done. Let's see if it actually bypassed iCloud. Check it out. The iOS 13.x.x iCloud bypass with Sliver version 5.4 still works on iOS 14. This is awesome, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the device, and we're gonna set it up like normal. And here we are on the new iOS 14. Check it out. We have the brand new wallpaper, we have CHECKRA1N, we have the new Translate app, all of the awesome things about iOS 14 are here, and we are iCloud bypassed. So we're gonna move on and test the MDM bypass now. Let's do it. All right, so I just updated my MDM locked device to iOS 14.0, and as you can see, when I click next, we have the remote management page. And if I try to move forward, it's gonna ask for a username and password, and we're gonna see if Sliver can bypass this. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna connect my device to the computer right now, and we're gonna fire up CHECKRA1N and click on start. And I'm gonna speed up this process because it's all pretty simple. We're just running CHECKRA1N here, and I'll be back when it says done. And here we are back at the setup screen. Let me go ahead and open up the phone and look at this. We're back at remote management. So let's go ahead and bypass that with Sliver. We're gonna quit CHECKRA1N and head over to Sliver, click on more options and MDM bypass. Let's just relay the device info. And now let's bypass MDM. Just like this, the device resprung. And we should get one more respring in a moment here. Now the MDM bypass should be complete. Let's see if it works on iOS 14.0. Just like that, we are on the home screen. So if your device was MDM locked and you update it and it became MDM locked again, you can still bypass with Sliver, and you guys saw how simple and easy that was to get straight to the home screen. And once again, this method is fully untethered. So without much further ado, I'm gonna test the passcode bypass method. So here I've got another iPhone 6s Plus, and I've previously done a passcode bypass on this device on iOS 13.7, and I just updated it to iOS 14.0.1, and as you can see, we are on the activation lock page, and I still have my old activation folder from iOS 13.7. So what we're gonna try to do is open up Sliver and go to more options, passcode bypass, and see if we can relay the device info and activate the device using the activation folder from iOS 13.7 or from whenever we previously did the passcode bypass now that we're on iOS 14. So let's get started with this. I'm going to open up CHECKRA1N, and of course we're going to do the same thing we did for the first bypass and the MDM bypass. Let's go ahead and put our device into DFU mode. And CHECKRA1N just finished, so I'm going to go ahead and quit the app. And now we're going to go back to Sliver and let's relay the device info. I'm going to first get to the activation lock screen right here. And now let's go ahead and open up a terminal window and start typing away with these commands. First, we're going to go for kill all Python. Now, there was a little confusion on this earlier because sometimes when you enter kill all Python, like if I were to enter it again, it would say no matching processes are found, but that's actually not an error. This is just, a double check kind of command to make sure it's not running. So if it says no matching processes, that's totally normal. I just thought I'd throw that out there because a lot of you were asking me on Twitter. But now we're going to go ahead and commod the activation folder. And now let's cd into the Python folder. Cool. And now I'm going to run TCP relay. And there we go. Forwarding local port, localhost to remote port 44. That's perfect. We're going to go ahead and minimize that window. Got it. And now let's make an attempt to activate the device. Looks like it's working so far. And here we are, process completed. So I'm going to go ahead and restart the device and let's see if the activation was successful. And just like this, we are on the home screen already. This is crazy, guys. I already did the mobile activation D tether bypass for this exact device, so that's why we didn't have the setup, but we are on the home screen now, and let me show you that FaceTime is going to be working perfectly. If it says waiting for activation, just give it 5 to 10 seconds, and in a moment here, we're going to see it activate. Just like that, we have FaceTime. Now I'm going to go ahead into the settings app and set a passcode. I'll just go for 123456 because why not? And once we're done with that, we can go home, lock the device, open it. Here we go with a passcode. And now I'm going to restart and show you that it's fully untethered. All right, here we are, right on the home screen with the passcode that of course we know is 123456, and we can even place a call if we want to. I don't happen to have a SIM card inside of this phone, so that's not going to work for me at the moment, but here we are. Oh, maybe I do have a SIM card. Let me retry that. Let's go with 611.
Thank you for calling AT&T.
Yep, calls are working perfectly. So, indeed, the passcode bypass is 100% a success. You can go ahead and update your previously passcode bypass devices or freshly bypassed devices to iOS 14.0 or 14.0.1, and you will get a full successful bypass. Let's move on to the last, but certainly not the least method, the Mina USB patcher. All right, and I wasn't able to find a device that actually needed the patching because all my devices were lucky and they actually can be CHECKRA1N'd even though they have a passcode. So we're just going to go ahead and use this device and throw it into diagnostics mode and see if the Mina USB tool can still work on iOS 14. Let's do it. So the first step we're going to do is run CHECKRA1N. Of course, we have to allow the untested versions. Now let's click on start. And we're going to go ahead and begin to put the device into DFU mode. Now watch closely here because we're going to need to hold a specific button configuration to go into the special diagnostics mode. Just like this, as soon as the device starts booting, hold the volume up and the home button. and just keep holding these two buttons. That's really important to boot into diagnostics mode. So don't let go, hold the volume up and the home the entire time. And here it is, guys. We have the diagnostics menu. So let's go ahead and open up the Mina USB Patcher tool. Here we are. It says the device connected is on iOS 14.0.1. Let's try to patch the USB restrictions. And it says device successfully patched. So I would conclude that the Mina USB Patcher is also still working on iOS 14. So we now have 4 fully successful bypass methods. We have the iOS 13.x.x free tethered bypass, which works perfectly on the latest version of iOS 14. We have the MDM bypass, also works on iOS 14. We have the passcode bypass that is fully untethered with calls, data, all Apple services working. And we have the Mina USB Patcher tool that's working perfectly in case any of you still need to patch those USB restrictions. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope you all enjoy bypassing iOS 14. It's certainly been fun showing all these new methods that are really just the old methods updated for iOS 14, and somehow Apple never patched them and they're still working great, which is pretty awesome. So hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for more on your #1 resource for everything iCloud bypass, AppleTech752. Until next time, follow me on Twitter at Sliver752, Instagram at AppleTech752, and Reddit at reddit.com/r/setupapp. And of course, check out my blog at appletech752.com. Peace.